So we're going to start off with Ocana, the pre-battle. This is the day before there's going to be a cavalry skirmish. Uses the same map as the battle does. Very limited number of troops. Allows me to take a look at some of the cav rules in a little bit more detail. Now, in terms of optional rules that I'm playing with, so the Spanish start setup here. I'm not going to play with any of the command rules because they don't make sense for this scenario. The Spaniards do not have a commander on the board, which would pretty much, may actually be historically accurate in terms of them not being able to operate properly, but it would make it a completely uninteresting scenario. So what we've got is a bunch of Spanish light cav and some fairly light. Wait, 9 is... Unfortunately, finding stuff in the rules isn't necessarily hard. I remember where I saw it. Like the Azure Wish rules, these are actually fairly easy to remember format-wise, which seems strange because they seem almost unformatted in a lot of ways, but they really lock into my my view. My mental image of the page. Anyway, over here in the orders, light cav is movement of 10 or more. Okay, so these are just medium or standard cav. The French do have some lights, and the advantage that light cav have, I gotta try to remember these, they can retreat before combat without a morale check. They can change direction 3 times instead of twice in a charge. They get a modifier in favor of disorganized. Whereas the line cav are going to get a modifier in their favor against light cav. So the French have less cav on the field, but they do have a leader. And let's see. Historically, the French won this engagement, and it may be simply a matter of taking leadership into account instead of not. Into the first problem. We don't have a defined first player. I'm going to make it the French because they've got to come on the map on this road here, and we'll start trying to set them up and see what happens. I don't expect to get a good battle out of this. I expect to get or a good game out of it. I expect to get some feeling for the play. So unfortunately, I don't have another copy of the sequence of play on any of these player aids. It's not too complicated. It's cav charges, movement, defensive, offensive, melee, and rally. I'm pretty used to that style, other than maybe the cav charges. So we're going to bring the French on the board. And they're coming on. This is a trail, I believe. As opposed to a road, which is this. Trail doesn't give any real bonuses except facing changes are free. So let's bring our line cav into play first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Facing this way now. 6, I'm assuming. Clear terrain only costs 1 for cav. We don't know this. Okay, so what did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now the problem I have, I want to understand whether slope is an issue. It is. And it costs more movement to climb. Cav charge either way. It's going to give the French a disadvantage if they attack going up there. Cav charge, I think I'm within range. So I'm going to stop there. Move these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tilt, 6, tilt. We'll hold there too. So now we're going to be over on the French side, and I better get myself some dice. I don't like the dice Legion provides. They're not bad dice, but I'm going to hunt down some of my kind of rounded dice, because this reminds me of Azure Wish. I'm kind of left with geez, I'm not sure what to do in this scenario, you know. The Spanish cav, to win the game, they have to avoid being disrupted or disordered at the end of turn 5, or eliminated or whatever. And they have to kind of stay in operation north of the town, whatever that means. I don't know if, you know, I want to go start hiding behind things. These little trees don't seem to mean anything when they're off on their own. Only if there's a forest. These just are there to annoy me. And no, they don't make the board look prettier to me. They make it look slightly more confused. It really looks like somebody's role-playing game map to me. Like they drew themselves. Anyway. But the reason I can't figure out what to do with the Spaniards is I'm up on this hill, which has some defensive benefit. But Cav really isn't something that can stand in a defensive location. And if I countercharge, I don't think I have any benefit. If I can find the... Let's see about slopes here. -1 if the attack is low to high, which means, you know, if the French cav attacks me, I'm going to have to try to countercharge in order to hit them. So I think I'm just going to end up charging. So let's try to find the rolls on charge, because it's the only thing in the game that I think is really kind of complex. These are the optional rolls, right? I hate when rolls are divided, you know, present me with the full game, right? Don't give me 18 different sets of rolls. I think there's a cool game in here, I just don't know, you know, which one it is. And then I can change it later, but all these optional rolls that aren't baked into the rolls make it really annoying to me. So, in order to do a charge, I have to declare it ahead of time, and I have this whole new set of movement allowances, which is listed along here. Okay, slopes are going to cost me 2 extra points. I'm not allowed a lot of movement change, so I'm not going to be able to, I think, swing around and hit a flank. Let's take a look. I'm allowed... Jesus. Yeah, it's like, if I wasn't trying to learn the game, I'd probably just be, you know, slam right in. 160-degree turn. No, only once each hex. Only 2 during the entire turn. So 2 means I'm going to get countercharged if I hit here, so I have to swerve out of the way, which would be facing this way, and then I'd be facing that way and coming in. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, down slope is, I guess, +2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm not going to get there. So we'll just charge forward. 1, 2, 3. Now the French are going to attempt to countercharge. Now, I don't have to make a check to make charge, I don't believe. Yeah. But the countercharge does have to make a morale check. And he's got a big morale of 9 there. That's pretty good. Yeah, we make it. Okay, so the countercharge immediately happens. And how do we resolve? Now first we have to go find the optional rolls, because we have light cav hitting line, And I don't have any support for that on the charts. It's just an optional rule that to me is really, I mean, I don't know. Do people really play this without a bunch of the optionals? It doesn't make sense to me, but light cav do not need to make a morale check to change. They can change direction 3 times instead of twice. Okay. I'm gonna need something. Here, yeah, I had to stick the rule book in my mouth so that I could put this there and then turn it around. Okay, so the counter charge I have to turn because I can only charge through the front. And then we resolve this. Okay, first of all, both units are in line at this point. That should have happened already. This was here, 1, 2. How did this go? I don't know. 1, 2, 3. And now this is in line. Okay. And I didn't have to turn. Now I have to go look at the... Again, we're used to modern games having, you know, when they have a complicated components, having that in one of the plaids, not just so that it's in the rule book, but you do get used to these pretty quickly. It's just a pain in the butt when you're first doing it. So the numbers are not exactly the same, but we're looking at melee value of 10, hitting 10. And that should be that. And now we go back to the charge rolls, and what do we do? This is an additional, okay. Let's see. Okay, so we're at 1 to 1. Any die roll modifiers? No leaders. Cav charges, +1 step loss against inf. Now we go to the optional rules for cav and try to look up what's up here. Line movement, nothing exciting. Who gets the bonus? Oh, they get the bonus against light cav. Okay. So they get a +1 against light cav. Or a -1. And in this case, we're looking at a -1. We'll use a red, no, we'll use a blue die because it's the French countercharge. And I think that's all we're at is 1 to 1 at -1. And we get a 0, which means the attacker is disorganized. 2 hex retreat. This is turn 1. We mark that with this. It flips back into column, and it's going to be flying back 2 hexes. Important factor is this was a counter charge, so it just stopped the Spanish charge, and we'll face them this way. And that unit is done. If the charge had hit and driven the French cav away, which of course we're not going to allow to happen, then it would have a follow-through coming up against Sebastiani here. Okay, so that's 1. Now this is not light cav, this is normal cav, and we're going to prepare another charge. One, 2. I guess we'll face this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. And we have another countercharge chance. Here we got a modifier of 1 for the leader. I'm sure the morale is quite high. Oh, not high enough. Okay, we got caught with our pants down. So there's a charge marker placed here. And I have to find where those are. There's one. The Spaniards will use this. Okay, and that's going to remind me, that says post-charge, but I have nothing to remind me that I'm in the midst of a charge, so that's going to remind me that I'm charging. Okay, now I'm going to launch another charge here, and note there's no die roll for the charge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the question is, does he get a countercharge? And I believe the case is no, because he's already being charged. A cav unit that's already charged and chose not to countercharge cannot countercharge. Well, he didn't choose not to, but it's the same situation. He's already engaged with the first charge. So he's being charged too, and somewhere I should have tweezers. Although I've gotten kind of not really used to using my left hand with the tweezers as much. And now we're going to have a charge with 2 units hitting this unit. And this did not get its formation change. So I think it's got the 4. And we've got 20 to 4. That's 5 to 1. Over here. And these are regulars against regulars. So nothing exciting. Oh, Jesus. We get a 6, which is 0 eliminated. Okay, Sebastiani has a chance of being killed. I believe it's on a 6. And this is completely ahistorical, but... And I think the thing is, this scenario couldn't actually happen because... let's push one of these units forward. Because the Spaniards don't have the leadership in place to actually mount a charge. They'd just be taking the charge. But, you know, we're getting to see some of the mechanisms in play. And notice that we've taken no numerical losses. We've just taken unit losses. It's possible there are numerical losses. They don't do a whole hell of a lot in this game. Once you get to a certain level of losses, you have a morale loss, you have less melee capability. But yeah, it's a game where those numbers don't mean quite as much. And I moved forward with one of my charging units. I have that option. And I think we're done. And now we've got some disordered French that cannot rally that we're going to get another shot at. They're going to try to find some place to hide. Okay, well, I think the battle is actually just about over. I mean, the French can't really do anything. They can withdraw a couple of hexes, which I'll do. And I think they do that through normal movement, not through their disorder. Well, it doesn't even make a lot of sense to do it. There's not much map left to fight over, and that's the problem here. So now the Spanish are just going to hit them some more. And here, this is pretty easy. I'm allowed another charge. So, let's see. I think it's 2 points per movement. Hex side 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in that case. I can't countercharge because I'm disordered. Let's see if we can get the rest in here. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and obviously I've got 30 to 7, which is going to be a 4 to 1 hit here. I hope I didn't roll 2 dice on the first attack. Okay, we only get a 1. So we get a 1 and a 1 star. The star is weird because normally that is when there's no number. A number causes a morale check, I thought. I don't know. Okay. So both sides take a step loss, which I'd mark on here. The French have to make a morale check. Their morale is now we were all hit from the front. They're disorganized. Their morale is 7. Bring it up to 8 for the leader. Okay, they passed their morale check, but they've been hit. So, geez. Now I have to look up the units. This is 022 took the hit there. Which will be this one here. I want to mark from this direction. And let's take the hit here on 033. Which is too small to ever get damaged. All right. And now these all revert. And what you can see is some level of the resilience of the units, I guess. But also, you know, numbers counted, right? And I guess that's the end of 2 turns. I'm gonna mark these off like this. I'll be back. I don't know where I am. I got some really bad belly hurt and thought it might have been appendicitis. Too chicken to go to a doctor. Not particularly because it's a doctor, but because it's something I'm not used to. And I think my situation was that it looked pretty clear. And then I threw out my back, which is much more painful, but I think my situation was that the French had lost this one pretty handily. I'm just going to load this up. This was meant to just be a short little exercise to let me see the Cav situation. I don't think I learned anything because I had to be away for too long, and I'll probably not be able to play much more for a while. Alright, let's send this up, and now I'm no better.